Gospel of Mark this summer, and we're getting to the end of the 4th chapter now. And the the crowds are growing around Jesus. Can't go anywhere now without being mobbed. He's famous. His power and his fame is spreading. He's like a movie star or the president or something. And one day he's teaching down by the sea, and the crowd is so thick that he needs to get some space. So he goes on a boat and sits down on a crate, and the crowd gathers on a hill, perhaps right by the shore. And he begins to teach about the realm of God, about this new thing that God is doing, this alternative world that's here in Jesus. And he teaches things like, the realm of God is like a seed that's scattered on the ground. And we sleep and rise night and day. And then suddenly it sprouts and grows, and we don't know how. God does it. The realm of God is like a mustard seed, like a weed. It's invasive. It's not under our control. It won't be stopped. God's intention of wholeness for creation won't be stopped. Nothing will stop it. Death won't stop it. Sin won't stop it. Rome won't stop it. And it's here now. He teaches all day. And at the end of the day, he's tired. And the crowd is tired too. But they stay. They wait. They want something more. And Jesus is on the boat. And as the sun is setting, he says to the people on the boat, let's go to the other side. And I happen to be on the boat. I'm telling the story. I can be wherever I want to be. And I'm on the boat. I want to tell you a little bit about this boat. It's not your normal boat. It's a fishing boat, which means it has nets and all those sorts of things. And it's a pretty big boat. And there are lots of people there on the boat. And what's interesting is that you can see everybody's fears. You can see their fears as clearly as you can see the color of the shirt that they're wearing. This is the boat of fears. There's a man with his laptop logged on to CNBC, and he's watching the stock ticker go by. You can get wireless anywhere these days. In one hand, he has investment reports. In the other hand, he's pulling out his hair. And he looks up at me, and I can see the fear that he has. He's wondering, what happens if I lose even more? A financial advisor is there. She has her laptop too, and a stack of stock and mutual fund prospectus or prospecti, whatever you would say. And she's frantically sifting through them, trying to find some combination that will earn her clients some money so they'll stop leaving those messages on her voicemail with anger and questions and frustration, even threats. And you can see her fear too. It's failure. There are families of all kinds on the boat, traditional and non-traditional, nuclear and extended, one parent, two parents, parents beyond parents, and children. The children are playing. Every once in a while, one turns and looks in my direction and smiles, and I smile back. And then I think about the fear that I see, and it's the same on all the children. They're just wondering, will there be enough love for me? Mothers are there, and they have many fears on display, but the what if I'm not perfect, what if I can't do it all, seems to be the main one. There are a few teenagers there. Some of them wonder the same thing. Some of them are just afraid to care about anything, afraid they might fail again, afraid someone might let them down one more time. And there are fathers there too. They have their fears, feeling trapped, not providing, not achieving, not being a man. There's a person in a hospital gown who's afraid of dying. There's a grocery store clerk who's afraid of having a few less hours because she's not even making it right now. Environmental scientists are there, afraid no one's going to listen. There's an 18-year-old, a 35-year-old, there's a 65-year-old. They all have the same fear. What if I don't figure out what to do with my life now? President Barack Obama's there. He just had a Middle Eastern trip, you know. He's there. He's talking on the phone. I wave. He looks at me like, who are you? And then snaps his fingers, and I'm tackled by Secret Service agents. It's really rough, you know. But I see some fears that he has. Inflation, Afghanistan, GM, approval ratings, North Korea. People can see my fears too. I can't hide them. Oversleeping on Sunday morning. Afraid my car will break down between services as I'm driving from one to the other, The serious fears are there too. Not being able to protect my children from everything that can harm them. The fear that people have who stand up and say things being irrelevant. And there are sailors at the front of the boat, and they just have one simple fear: the storm. Well, we shove off from the shore in this boat of fears and start to leave the crowd behind. And as they get smaller and smaller on the shore, my anxiety goes higher and higher. If you've ever left the crowd behind, you know what I'm talking about. It's frightening going out on your own without the safety of the group. It can be liberating, breaking from the group, deciding for yourself what life will be, doing the thinking and the dreaming, doing the hard work needed to live those dreams. But it's scary. Maybe you know what I'm talking about if you haven't left the crowd, if you walked to the edge of that boundary every once in a while and looked out there and thought, life would be so exciting out there, it could be so much more meaningful out there. And you think about taking that step, and then as you lift your foot, you turn around and head back towards the center, thinking it's safer in the group. There are reasons people stay in the group. It's smooth sailing, and we go to sleep. Those of us who can. It's the boat of fears, so it's hard to sleep. And then we wake to the sound of the wind picking up, starting to roar. We look at one another and know it's here. It's the storm, and we can't do anything about it. We can't sail away. We can't make it stop. We have to endure it. And the rain's coming harder and harder. Soon it's coming in sheets. The wind is howling. The boat's being tossed from one wave to the next. The waves are crashing onto the deck, hitting us like bricks, knocking us around dangerously. In a storm on a boat, everyone has a job to do. This boat is no different. I work on securing the net. Some people are working with the sails. Everyone else is just helping people, especially the children, just hold on. Everybody's doing something. Everybody's got their work, and they're hard at it. Everybody except, guess who? Jesus. He's asleep in the back of the boat, asleep on a cushion. There's some drool coming out of the side of his mouth. Nobody knows how he's sleeping, but by now everybody knows that he's sleeping. For some, the fear of the storm turns to anger. Hey, he's not pulling his weight. Get him out here. For some, the fear of the storm turns into a glimmer of hope. Hey, he could help us. Get him out here. And so, one of the sailors, a disciple, runs from stem to stern and yells at him to wake him up. Teacher, don't you care that we're perishing here? Get up! And Jesus sits up, wakes up. He's clearly annoyed to be awake. He'd rather be sleeping. And he steps out of the shelter of the stern, and the wind catches him, and he stumbles. And he starts to pick himself up. And as he does, he yells at the wind, "Silence!" And then he looks at us, all of us on the boat of fears, and he looks beyond us at the storm and the clouds and feels the wind and the rain, and just looking at us as we're just swirling around in this boat. And then he says, "Peace! Be still!"